For a few moments I'll talk about what this long-term change framework is really about and what it is that we hope to achieve from these efforts. As you can see here, this is part, it's an output of our Spatial Planning Initiative, and the logo of the Spatial Planning Initiative there shows a coming together of various different circles, different types and sizes, representing the communities of the region and the councils of the area. And how that they're coming together creates something quite different. And it's that imagery that you'll see in terms of the circles that flows through, representing regional development through the published document that you've received now earlier on today. Statistics very much underpin a lot of the work that has gone into this in terms of the ambitions, the details and the opportunities. And we're very much indebted to Ian's department, the Department of Environment, for seconding Prunchas McCahey to us for 18 months. And Prunchas did sterling work in looking at the first cross-border data sets available to us to help develop this strategy. So the strategy is very much based on the facts, the figures, the issues, the needs. They're not just wish lists or dreams or whatever. It's based on actual hard fact. That's been invaluable to us for the development of the framework, but that's also available to you and others at ICBAN.com on the website. If you just go in and click on Data Central, you'll come into the maps on the left. You can choose a map or a profile, and say you go into that map, and you'll come up with a public maps gallery. Click on into that, into the specific area that you're interested in. You can get any degree of information you want. For example, the number of sheep per particular ward, should such information like that be something that you're inclined to try and find. But it's an invaluable resource. Go into it and work your way through it. Be invaluable for anyone making funding applications, etc. Chapter 3 deals with the statistics that underpin the framework in more detail. And the 1 minute that I'll take to run through a couple of key headline figures isn't doing it any justice. But you're looking at a region with a population of some 660,000, growing to over 750,000 projected by 2016. That's our critical mass. 1 in 10 of the island's population, 1/5 of the land mass. Now, the rurality there is underpinned also by the fact 2/3 of our population live in settlements of less than 1,500 inhabitants. It's a region, that is very strong in entrepreneurism, SMEs, micro-businesses. They're the backbone of our economy. The manufacturing sector and other sectors are particularly strong. But we do have a reliance, and that has come out on traditional economic sectors. The example of Cork that Anne-Marie has just put shows that by trying to modernise those sectors and moving along the value chain, that perhaps greater gains can be found, that we can create a more resilient economy. And that's very much what is at the heart of the strategy up to 2027. Because unemployment's back, emigration's back with a vengeance. Recent University College Cork study released on Irish immigration and age of austerity illustrated 1/4 of households in the country have been affected by immigration since 2006. Those are the sobering statistics. But we have assets in this region. We have a positive future. Tourism, sustainable development, entrepreneurism. Those are some of the key areas that we can focus on if we are to take the region forward. The approach of the Regional Strategic Framework is very much about an integrated approach. How you can see here in this diagram, the RSF actually sits or intertwines with EU 2020, national strategies like the RDS, the National Spatial Strategy, the Framework for Cooperation on the Island, local government plans, the regional planning guidelines from the BRA. And the RSF sits within those, intertwining and working with those for the betterment of the area. The uniqueness of the RSF is it's regional, it's cross-border, it's non-statutory. It seeks to complement all of these other efforts and in any way to supersede any of those ambitions. Our own key ambitions to influence the governments on spending on their investment policies, to address the inequalities prevalent in the region in economic and social terms, and to identify opportunities for local authorities and other stakeholders to work together, to collaborate, share services for the betterment of the region. And also, very importantly, even though we may be there on the northwest edge of the EU, to play a more involved role in the European Union through sharing, through learning, that we become a destination, or a very attractive destination, a more attractive destination for EU funding and investments in the future. Ultimately, what it's about is hope. It's about creating a region that people will want to stay in, that they will feel that there is their future here, that they won't need to go to faraway fields that appear maybe greener. to me, that is very much what the RSF is about. It's about creating that hope, that future for people. That University College Cork survey found that 47% of people that have emigrated in recent years left whilst in employment. You would believe that the vast majority, of course, and more than that, will be leaving whilst without a job, but actually 47% in employment. Now, the reasons that they were given was that they didn't believe that their jobs, their skills, their qualifications would be utilised to the full in the future in this country. That they didn't believe that the opportunities were there, the ambitions were there for them. But 82% of the immigrants have said that if the conditions are right and the opportunities are there, that they will return home. I suppose it's in that space that the RSF and all those other initiatives sits, to try and create something attractive, to let people know that something is being done here at home and here for them to retain them in this country, whether it's in terms of education or jobs. It's really about their future, isn't it? Our vision is about making a distinctive contribution to the island's development. And we link that through to the 4 key objectives, and 3 of those are linked into EU 2020, about making a smart region here, a sustainable region, an inclusive, people-centred region, but also a region, and the 4th priority, 4th objective is one that we see specific to ours, being accessible and being connected. Now, chapters 4 to 7 of your document will go through those in more detail. It will detail the opportunities, the outcomes, the challenges, and the context of dealing with each of those 4 areas. And there are quite a range of opportunities that we have to work on. And we're dealing with opportunities at this stage because more work is needed now to develop those into specific initiatives and projects. But we've agreed what the opportunities are. And just looking at a few of those, we're looking at further cooperation between industry and education, using the example of South West College. We're looking at safeguarding rural services and revitalising our towns and villages. We're looking at exploiting the assets, the land, the waterways, the rivers, the lakes, the sea, the ocean, for the benefit of the region. We're looking at the potential of cross-border tourism strategy work. And also in terms of energy supply, roads, transportation access and infrastructure, telecommunications connections, these are also critical. The map there shows, is from a recent ICBAN study, highlighting the importance of the A5N2 running north to south and the A4N16 running from the east to west to the region. Crisscrossing there, Ballygolly, what the BRA terms it, the Northern Cross. Now those roads and that roads network and the development of that and the enhancement of that is critical to enhance access into the region and also access within our region to make it more attractive. What's come up time and time again in the consultation work that we went through as part of the study was the critical importance that roads and transport infrastructure has for the further development of this region. Equally important is the need for a connected region for social, educational, economic purposes. I'll go home today back to Cookstown, and probably on that journey, if it was on the phone, my signal will be cut about 12 times. It's not good enough. The staple diet of modern regional development is really telecommunications connections. You can see there's what puts a smile on people's faces. We've all got phones. It's that ability to connect with someone, that when you want to try and make a call that you'll get them and your signal will hold out. It's that ability to be able to access any information on your smartphone from wherever you are. We need that as much in this region and everywhere within this region as much as any others if we are to be competitive. That is a key objective of the work of the RSF. And we're trying to learn from others like South West College and like CASP. And parts of the document you'll see a number of case studies. They're very interesting. What we asked the consultants to do was to find the case studies that were similar to our region, that were unique also in terms of the rurality. And what's coming through in this here is some of these examples is a common thread of clustering and critical mass. And in a dispersed region like ours, with quite a number of small towns and settlements in comparison to other areas, it is that coming together that is absolutely critical for the future. ICBAN is an example of a clustering of 10 councils. But if you take Sunderberg there to your top left, Provincial is cool in southern Denmark is the strapline that they're using. In terms of rural areas coming together and promoting themselves and promoting the offerings of their area, particularly in terms of creative sectors, and it's working very well. Midsorenland, just below that, another region of Denmark where 5 municipalities have come together to develop a cooperative to create regional broadband responses. Top right is the University of Highlands and Islands in Scotland, where the educational providers, the service providers have come together to create more near-to-home education, so that stems the efforts and the tasks of people to have to go to the other cities. In Ecosteria in Austria, it's the efforts of the SMEs, the universities and education institutes there to create what is a world leader now in terms of sustainable development and renewables. And of course we have to add CASP, and we have to add Southwest College to that. The examples of how you can tackle change and develop specialisms for the benefit of your area, also in terms of how you can create a more resilient region through a lot of the partnering and leadership and visioning efforts. And we look to those as good examples. Implementation and leadership. And the leader there you can see running across the plank. We need the same multi-sectoral partnership approach to implementation that we've already had in the successful development to get to this stage. We need a mixed economy approach to delivery, and what I mean by that is we need the community voluntary, the private sectors, local government, central government, all working together to deliver the projects, the initiatives, the opportunities that are going to come out of this work. And the delivery should be by those best placed to deliver those. Now, in that regard, we have to recognise that it has been the efforts of local government and 10 councils to pull together this regional strategic framework. To implement it successfully, it's too much to ask the local authorities, given their remit and responsibilities, to do that, because the challenges and the tasks inherent here in the RSF are much greater than what local government can do. So it's very encouraging and very positive to hear the feedback from 4 government departments effectively here today, that they're open to listening to the RSF and to working with us in terms of implementing it for the betterment of the region. Implementation will be a key stage. It'll be a challenge, of course, too, but we can't underestimate the huge work that has been done to get it to this stage, to have an agreement covering an area of some almost 700,000 people and 10 councils, to have an agreed, for the first time in this region, an agreed future vision, objectives and strategy. But what we recognise is we also need to develop that in more detail and flesh that out into regional action plans, to look at costings, to look at location-specific ideas, to look at responsibilities, to time them, to look at the potential sources of funding, etc. And we need to also look at how we do that in the form of it to be enabling agreements, to enhance our partnership approaches, or whether it's through memorandums of understanding. But there is a momentum, and it is that we have to really, from today, really capitalise upon and take forward. There's a listening here from central government, there's local government's involvement, and we saw that today, illustrated here by the attendance of people, and with the private and community sectors also involved. And in trying to find a way to just close, of illustrating that and where we are, I'm always on the lookout for a quote, and following documentaries during the week, I found this quotation here. It's an actual quotation that President John F. Kennedy would have given 50 years ago today, should he have been able to make it on to Austin. Now, of course, he was talking about his country, and if we can just for a moment just think about our region, what he was stating about his country is also quite invaluable in terms of regional development. For more information on the Regional Strategic Framework, you can find in your packs a little pen drive that has a downloadable version, or a viewable version there, of course, of the RSF, the support documents to that, consultation details, etc. Follow our website for more information at ICBAN.com, and you'll be able to see the videos that have been taken here today, to be able to go back over and review some of the addresses that were given here today. Finally, thank you to everyone for coming along today and supporting us. Thank you.